Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here once again, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. I was planning to record this right after the FIBA draw last night, but it was a pretty long day. We had Batangilas practice for around 4 hours in the afternoon and had to travel home, watch the entire FIBA draw. It was really, really good. But all the emotions, all the excitement just got the better of me, so I had to rest. And then, here today we're going to have, I'm planning to have double episodes today. And I'm actually going to record a pretty long podcast now and splice it into around 3 episodes for the next, for today and then tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to focus on, I guess, Gilas first, and Gilas women, because they're going to be playing in the Southeast Asian Games pretty soon. And I want to really put the spotlight on them, on both national teams, and maybe even a bit of 3x3 to try and really drum up a little bit more support. I know that, the preparations for the SEA Games haven't been ideal, especially when we talk about the Gilas men's national team. But we're still hoping that they reclaim the gold, and of course, we're going to throw all our support their way. But that's for, later this week. Right now, I just want to share some reactions to the FIBA Basketball World Cup draw, which happened at the time of this recording. The draw happened last night. It started around 7:30 Manila time, and the draw really is. Definitely it's a big thing. It's not as simple as having a big roulette or tambiolo or something like that, where you draw 32 pieces of paper or balls or whatever, and then put them in groups, right? So it's a really intricate process, and it's something we saw, I think, in 2014 and in 2019 as well. And first of all, I want to congratulate the SBP, our local organizing committee, for all the hard work they did. I'm sure behind the scenes, we saw the sharp execution, the clean execution. We saw the glitz, the glamour, the sights, the sounds. But I'm sure that behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure that the guys who were in charge of the entire production, logistics, entertainment, I'm sure there was a very high level of stress, as it goes with certain big productions. But again, I would like to say congratulations to the SPP, LOC, for really being able to do it well, naitawid. And I don't mean naitawid, barely naitawid. I think they did a really good job with the draw. Of course, some people might like to compare it to 4 years ago in China and everything. I think China's, objectively speaking, and because they're China, they have so much more production capacity, but I think we really felt the excitement last night. We felt the genuine passion for the game of the Filipinos last night as well. And I wanted to talk, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about, the production last night. Because again, I want to put the spotlight on the SBP and our local organizing committee. This is maybe, again, the biggest sporting event we've ever hosted in the Philippines. And yes, we've hosted Asian Games before. We've hosted SEA Games. We've hosted World Championships in several other sports. We hosted Thrilla in Manila decades ago. We hosted a World Cup in FIBA, or for FIBA as well, many decades ago. But given the context of the Philippines right now, the world right now, FIBA right now, and the game of basketball right now, and its stature in global sports, this is, I really think, the biggest sporting event that the country is hosting um, ever. No, I guess the only sad thing I'm feeling right now is unless you're in Metro Manila, you probably will not feel it too much. No? So obviously, if you live in Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, Baguio, unless you guys travel to Manila, you probably won't feel uh, the palpable excitement about it. Obviously, you might not be able to see the NBA stars and celebrities unless after the tournament they actually go to Cebu, go to Boracay, go on the different tourist spots, which we hope they will actually do. But for now, again, I want to put the spotlight on the production and, of course, on our friends from the media who covered it really, really well last night. And one member of the media whom I think really covered it extremely well was Luisa Morales from the Philippine Star. Isa sa mga young, up-and-coming journalists in sports, an advocate of women's sports, and a very, very talented journalist and writer. So I want to put the spotlight on her as well for today. Let's go through the thread that she created last night as the World Cup draw took place. So you look at the stage here in the Araneta Coliseum. I count 7 screens, 7 big screens at least. And again, production value, considering every constraint we have in the Philippines, really, really good. And just to be able to synchronize all these screens together, a technical marvel already in my book. Okay? And our hosts, man, props to my good friend Gretchen Ho, who did an absolute bang-up job last night. And of course, Ari Chambers as well, who's an advocate of women's sports. These two ladies absolutely nailed it last night, at least in my book. They were able to really embody the energy and the passion for the game. And, I'm not sure if there were any, because when you host a show, diba, sometimes there are changes, impromptu things that you have to do. And as an MC, as a host, you have to adjust to that. I'm not sure if they had to do that at some point last night. But if they did, it wasn't noticeable at all. At least I didn't notice it. If there were any changes, hiccups, or anything in the program, in the flow, I didn't really notice anything. So props to the production again, and especially to our main hosts last night. Both of them looked really stunning. I messaged Gretch after. So proud of her, so proud of Ari, and the people who were in charge of the actual program. So I think it was a very, very well thought out show as well. Then we had these 3 messages from representatives from the 3 host countries. From the Philippines, obviously represented by MVP. We had representatives from Indonesia and Japan as well. So it was a very, very good start to the entire program. Of course, we welcomed Jip, the official mascot for the World Cup. And yes, Jip is kind of a name, a play on the name, of course, of one of our, or maybe our most famous mode of transportation in the Philippines. Maybe not the most efficient, but most loved, I guess. And the jeep kasi is a symbol of our cultural of our passion for our culture, diba? And I think it was a really witty thing to actually name the mascot Jeep. And Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, JIP, Jeep. It all fits together. Some people find it corny. I find it really, really nice, witty, well done. So good job for that. Of course, he was really, really cute on stage. Then we had the performances. Sarah Geronimo in the house. I think he and Billy Crawford did really, really well to pump up the crowd, keep the emotional levels high throughout the first half of the event. Of course, you had celebrities like Manny Pacquiao being shown on the big screen as well. And I guess for me, as a pure basketball fan, I loved seeing some legends on the stage last night. Of course, everything began with this guy right here, Luis Scola. Man, one of the idols. I remember watching him with Facundo Campazzo, with Gabriel Deck. In 2019 in China, Argentina finished second. If I'm not mistaken, they finished second overall. And they were one of the Cinderella because they were not a very tall team, no really big NBA level names, but they did really well in that tournament. It's sad that Argentina did not make it, flew to the Philippines to the World Cup this year. But seeing Scola right there, living legend of international basketball, was really really cool. One of our idols in international hoops, of course. And you have the video from Melo, video from Pau, their cute little exchange, obviously scripted, but still, a well done exchange as well. No? And of course, ideally we would have wanted both to be on stage, talking about Melo and Pau. This was the next big thing already. Of course, another legend of international basketball carrying the trophy, Jorge Garbajosa. Really, really awesome to see him. And then to see him and Scola on stage together. Very interesting because, of course, they had memorable battles on the international stage, obviously in Eurobasket as well. So that was really good. Phil Am rapper Sweetie performing really well as well. I have to admit, before the World Cup draw, I was really familiar with Sweetie, but she performed really well. It reminded me of of Shakira from her performances in the promotions for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, more than 10 years ago. So, which was a very good performance from Shakira. So this performance of Sweetie kind of reminded me about that. So really, really good. Then you have our ambassadors. You have Eddie Tenorio and Catriona Gray representing the Philippines. Obviously, really, really, really good. You had Dirk Nowitzki there as well. And the guy here that I want to spotlight is actually this guy. That's Takehiko Orimo, an absolute legend of Asian basketball. He is the Japanese equivalent, I guess, of Alan K. Dick. Or Alan K. Dick is the Philippine equivalent of Takehiko Orimo, something like that. Hands down the best shooter, I guess, in the history of Japanese basketball. And to see him there on stage was just really, really awesome to represent Japan and to be part of the draw. It's huge. All right. And of course, the draw itself taking place. We have all these, you have the fish bowls right there, for transparency, literally and figuratively as well. You got Peja Bogosaliev right there as well. We in FIBA fondly call him Bogey or Boss Bogey to explain everything. He was really, really good. So the draw was good. Production value was good. I think it was just a really bang-up good job by the Philippines, by SBP and LOC. Of course, in coordination with Japan and Indonesia and FIBA as well. And I think it was a really, really good show last night, worthy of how well we're going to host the World Cup here in Manila. Okay? And speaking of that, the next part of this episode, which is going to be shown later today, we're going to talk about the draw itself. We're going to talk about the groups. I actually tried to predict what the groupings would look like. I got most of it correct, but not all of it, obviously. Which group is the group of death, toughest group, which is the weakest group, which teams are the title favorites, and then we're going to go through a very early tournament prediction. And then in part 3 of this episode, we're going to talk about Gilas in particular. What are their chances of advancing? What are their chances of qualifying for the Olympics by way of the World Cup? And, as Filipinos, why should we care about this anyway? Why should we be excited to actually host this? It's going to cause a lot of traffic, a lot of headaches for a lot of people. But at the same time, it's going to open up so many opportunities for our country, for our brand of basketball, and for our people in general. So keep tuned in. And thank you very much for listening to this first part of this three-part, I guess, big episode on the FIBA World Cup draw. Again, if you like this topic, then you should like our future topics as well. As always, we're going to try to spotlight as many fan comments as we can. Our next episode or the next part of this comes in tonight. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA Basketball. Follow me on Twitter at HoopNut or Instagram at TheHoopNut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball!